Good afternoon, good boy Jeremy from Unsleeved Media here with only the most positive content available, regardless of my own individual feelings of what's going on in Magic the Gathering. I'm here to dance for everyone that wants to hear good stuff. So today, I'm going to do a top 5 video. Everyone loves top 5 videos. So I'm going to do top 5 Magic sets of recent era. Now, to narrow it down to the top 5 ever is basically an impossible task. When I look at just the recent era, which is basically 2010 on, it was hard enough to get down to just 5. And I want to start with some honorable mentions. Now, let's have some fun with this. You put your top 5. Maybe if you want to pause the video and then like the video, and then leave your top 5 down below before I do my top 5. Might be a little bit of fun on a Tuesday for everyone out there. So yeah, feel free to do that. And I will go and get started. So I want to start with some honorable mentions. I thought I knew my top 5 like right away. I thought I knew my top 5 without having to do a lot of thinking. Then when I pulled up the actual sets and I narrowed down the actual date range that I was going to stick in, it wasn't so easy. And ultimately, I do want to do maybe of each decade. So this will be from 2010 going forward, and then maybe I'll do one from 2000. If you want that, hit the like button. If this video has a very positive response, then I'll know you like it. People are always saying they want to see positive content, so let's see. And if you want to see, then, 2000 through 2010, 1990 through 2000, that'd be all right. That might be kind of fun. So, honorable mentions. First honorable mention was Kaladesh. I thought, first of all, the vehicles was pretty fun, even though some people don't love the vehicles mechanic. I thought the expeditions in that set were hands down the best looking, the most beautiful Magic cards I've ever seen in my life. Visually stunning. Just a fun format with a lot of powerful cards. But it just didn't make... And really, any of these honorable mentions, I think, would be, if you're looking at basketball, nominated for the 6th man. Like, it wasn't like this is... It was really hard to cut these. The other honorable mention I thought was Theros. Very powerful set. Very memorable standard with things like Devotion. I had a lot of fun during Theros. The Bestow mechanic was really interesting overall. Theros was a game changer, bringing the gods in as commanders. Oh, God, it was so hard. I'm talking myself back into putting it on the list now. 2 more honorable mentions. One, and this one might shock you, Innistrad. Innistrad didn't make it into my top 5. Very powerful set, visually appealing, and it was like 5.000000001, and it may be in your top 5. And the last honorable mention, New Phyrexia. And I'll tell you why I think these don't make my top 5, to be fair. I was just coming back at this time, so I feel that it's fair to say I don't have an accurate memory of the level of hype around these sets. So maybe they should be in the top 5, and maybe they'll be in your top 5. But since I was just coming back, they were just sets to me. There wasn't a lot of build-up and hype. So I'm going to go into my top 5, and my number 5 might trigger you. Magic Origins. I thought Origins was a very good set overall. Having the flip-sided Planeswalkers was transformative of the game with Gideon Jara, Jace Bellerin, Liliana Vess, Chandra Nalaar, Nissa Ravine. You had very powerful cards like Hangerback Walker. It was a good moment, I thought, in Magic. I thought it was a good, limited environment. That was the one thing I missed most about core sets. You kind of always knew limited was going to be pretty basic, and that everyone was going to be able to play it. But I thought Origins was good thematically, showing the origin of these players, and also in gameplay, in limited, things like that. Overall, with the flip cards and everything else going around, Origins, I think it's fine. I think it was a fine for number 5. Now, number 4, Modern Masters 2017. The only Modern Masters set that I think most completely accomplished both delivering needed reprints and having it at a fair availability. Now, I didn't want to put more than one Modern Masters in here because if I was just looking at raw value, original Modern Masters probably would have taken this spot. However, because I could still go out and buy a Modern Masters 2017 for a very long time, and they actually didn't screw it up and they put fetch lands in it, there are just so many good things about Modern Masters 2017. The keywords in the set with Blood Rush, Conspire, Flashback, Miracle, Overlord, Populate, Soul Bond, Unearth. Overall, limited environment, great. Included cards, very solid. Having, Snapcaster Mage, Cavern of Souls, Falconwrath Aristocrat, Obsidat, even though these cards weren't necessarily all worth a fortune. You had a lot. You had a lot in Modern Masters 2017, and I think it represented what Modern Masters could have been if they didn't feel the need to put it out every year and if they didn't feel the need to try and play with the secondary market. I think Modern Masters' primary limitation was Wizards of the Coast fear of the secondary market. You could have made the argument that, well, if they put all this value in that everyone wants, you're not going to be able to get it, but that is so easily debunked by just reminding them that they could just print more of it. So Modern Masters 2017 for my number 4 top set in the modern era. Now, my number 3 top set is another kind of supplemental set. It is actually Unstable. Coming out this last Christmas, I thought it was an absolute home run of a set. The lands were beautiful. The foil tokens were a stroke of genius. And the actual gameplay was excellent. I provided probably 15 drafts at the last BandCon in Indianapolis of Unstable. And I really wish I would have kept some boxes for myself so I could go back and draft it without paying crazy secondary prices. I think Unstable is going to go down as one of the last sets in recent history that are going to be worth collecting for a long time and worth opening up and playing for a long time. It will probably be the last unset we see for a while until they get things more stabilized. But overall, I thought Unstable was a very good set. Now we're getting to the top 2. What are your top 2? If you like these kind of good boy Magic videos, make sure you tell me. I'll keep them coming. I'm happy to be happy about Magic. I don't like to always have to go get Daddy's belt. Number 2, Khans of Tarkir. Absolutely killer draft format. Very memorable standard format. Powerful cards. Fetch land reprints. Everything you wanted. Foil fetch lands. Everything you could have wanted. Tribes or a very clear-cut draft format. You could draft different, you're either Mardu or, what you use in the or the Morph was also really memorable. And the mechanics like Bolster, Prowess, Raid, Ferocious, these are all very memorable, very fitting for their cards. And Khans of Tarkir, to this day, Triple Khans, remains my absolute most favorite draft format I have ever played. It felt the most balanced with, it was sometimes difficult to, Abzan, I think, was by far the most powerful, but you could still win with a really strong Jeskai or Mardu or even Temur deck. Sultai was a little more difficult, but whichever set of cards, whichever wedge that you wanted to focus on, you could build a good deck. It was also for a new player just getting in a draft. Really, that was where I really honed in my draft skills, being able to pick up on signals, because it was easy with, quite honestly, you'd start to see the kind of cards that, why am I getting that Falcon or that 2/3 flyer, late? Okay, Abzan's open, or okay, Sultai's open. Moving in and then playing the 5 color or playing Morph learning to play morph creatures even if they're off color because they're just a 2/2 creature. It really, really made me better at drafting. I was excited to draft forever. It was the only time I remember the local game stores kind of running out of product for drafting because everyone was happy to draft. There was enough value in the set to go and pay $15 for a draft because you knew someone at that table was going to crack a fetch land. Maybe someone else was going to crack a foil fetch land. There were other expensive cards in the set. Overall, Khans of Tarkir was incredible. It's just an incredible set, in my opinion. And, by the way, in 2015, it won the Origins Award as the best collectible card game of the year. That's a fun fact. All right, are you ready for number one? Are you sensing a trend? Do you think you know what my number one is going to be? It's Return to Ravnica. Yes, Return to Ravnica. It had its flaws with, in my opinion, it was an excellent, limited environment with the only drawback of Populate being a little OP. Selesnya being a little OP. But it was easy to get into, easy to draft because you could pick up signals on which guild was going to be coming your way. It's no mistake that Wizards wants to go back to this. People loved drafting because it was less stressful. You could kind of find the guild that would kind of match your personality. You had very powerful cards. This is the last time, other than in Khans, the second last time, I can remember being really excited about Standard. The set had a ton of powerful cards. My all-time favorite mechanic in Extort. I love Orzhov or Orzhov, if you want to pronounce it like the, if you all worry about pronunciation. But there were an absolute plethora of very powerful cards in Return to Ravnica. And the only drawback I saw was that it was kind of overprinted. And so a lot of the really valuable cards really crashed after Standard. And the boxes never really held their value. It was the first set that I tried to speculate on, and I got hammered, having to unload them after a couple of months, and realizing that booster boxes, you can still buy booster boxes of Return to Ravnica for like $80. And to me, this is the benefit. You can go back and it's a fun draft environment. The value isn't quite there. Shotgun's never really recovered, because RTR was just hammered by mass box openers like Rudy, which is good. It's good for the secondary market, but the sealed product long-term market with the overprinting and the product that was out there, it was definitely a drawback, but this was the first set that really made me reconnect to Magic, connect to a guild, find a Magic identity, and therefore it's number one on my list from the years of 2010 to current. I'm excited to see what your top 5 are in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.